Hello there, you amazing viewers and subscribers. Welcome to a brand new Doctor Who video for today. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about why I don't like David Tennant's incarnation of the Doctor. Don't get me wrong, David Tennant is a great actor, to be honest with you. He's good in Good Omens and Jessica Jones and Harry Potter, The Goblet of Fire. It's just his era of Doctor Who isn't in fact one of my favourites. As I have said before, it's my least favourite era. He's my least favourite Doctor for some other reasons. So I thought I'd try and do a proper video to explain why Tennant is my least favourite Doctor. And I'm sorry to all this if David Tennant is your favourite Doctor and stuff, but as I say, this is my opinion and my opinion alone, and this is why David Tennant is my least favourite Doctor. If you'd like to comment down below or just try and tell me where you think I could be wrong, please do, because I would like to have a conversation about it. It's just, in a way, David Tennant isn't, in fact, he's my least favourite Doctor. He's the least. Growing up, back when I was 10, 11, 12, 13, even 14, he was the Doctor. And then when I was 15 and 16, it went down to Matt Smith. Well, basically, yeah, 13, 14, 15, 16, I think it went down to Matt Smith. So growing up, David Tennant used to be my favourite Doctor. Well, he used to be my second favourite Doctor, even during the school, when I was at secondary school, because Tom Baker has always been my favourite all through the years. I mean, I did used to go to non-uniform days dressed as the 4th Doctor or the 5th Doctor. I used to dress up as the Doctors, even Matt Smith's Doctor. And Tennant used to be my second favourite Doctor for a hell of a long time, but over the last 10, 9, 8, 7 years, Tennant has dropped a lot lower in my list of favourite Doctors. Admittedly, some Doctors have moved up that I didn't used to like. I mean, Colin Baker used to be really at the bottom of the list with where David Tennant is, but Colin Baker's moved up to my 6th favourite Doctor. David Tennant's moved down to the least favourite. So I just want to do a next video to explain why I don't like Tennant's run. Now, it's nothing to do with David Tennant as an actor, because I think David Tennant is amazing as an actor. It's just the way I think the episodes and was written for him. In a way, it's the way I don't actually like it. So the problem I have with the 10th Doctor is that I think he's too much of a romantic Doctor. And as I said before, it goes around, he goes and snogs a lot of girls, this incarnation of the Doctor, which I really think is not a Doctor thing to do. But if you're probably saying, but Matt Smith did exactly the same, yes, Matt Smith did exactly the same, but it got carried away with David Tennant a hell of a lot than it did for Matt Smith, in a way. So when you watch a lot of Doctor Who from Series 2 to Series 4, you do see Tennant kiss a hell of a lot of girls, and that isn't something the Doctor should really do. The Doctor is a Time Lord. He's a Gallifreyan. He doesn't go around wanting to snog other humans. You really call yourself... You really think the Doctor does that? Then no, the Doctor doesn't. This is why I come across him as... a bit later on, I'm going to explain why I think he's a whiny Doctor as well. But in this episode, if you think about it, he snogs Rose, Madame de Pompadour, Martha, Astrid Peth, Donna a little bit, but that was to try and get the poison out of him. Lady Christina de Souza. Yeah. This is the one point. This is where you see more of a romantic side to the Doctor. And the thing is, the Doctor shouldn't have a romantic side. He's travelling through time and space. He's the last of his kind. He shouldn't go around falling in love with flipping human females. Shouldn't be going around falling in love at full stop. Before you say anything, yes, the River Song and the 11th Doctor does work, because that is an actual plot. But Tennant and Rose isn't really a plot. It's just literally shoved in our faces through a lot of Series 2. And it just does my bloody head in. The way you see him, like, in the relationship, it's like, the Doctor, this is wrong, the Doctor should not go around falling in love. And then when you see him in the TARDIS burning up to her son to say goodbye to her because she's gone into a parallel universe, and then you see him crying, that just Oh, that one in Doomsday. Even though how good Doomsday is, that is the really bit of the episode that really does my head in. Because every time the Doctor has said goodbye to a companion, they don't go off and cry about it. They just get on with the next thing. I mean, look at Tom Baker with in the Invasion of Time. He says goodbye to Leela, and she goes, "I will miss you." And he goes, and just when he goes to the TARDIS daughter, goes, "I will miss you too, Savage." That's the thing. And he never go crying around when Sarah Jane left him, or John Pertwee with Joe Grant, or even Troughton with Ben and Polly, or William Hartnell's Doctor when for first goodbye, and that was his granddaughter Susan. You see him like moaning a little bit about it, that he's really knocked in for 6, but you don't see him cry about it. He just goes on to the next thing. Where this Tennant's incarnation of the Doctor is there crying at the end of Doomsday, and it's like, this is where you're just going to ruin it now, isn't it? Yes. That's the one thing. And then when you get to series 3, you see him snog Moffat in the very first episode, and that's mainly about Eith. But then when you get to Human Nature and Family of Blood, yes, okay, he has turned himself into a human. But that's the thing about it. There's no really thing about between the two of them. They're still the same person. I mean, the Doctor goes and kisses Joan. Well, it's okay, John Smith, but do you not see what I mean? If that was the Doctor, it still would exactly the same thing. That's what I mean about that. Even though you could say circumstances are different, but that's the only thing about it. I don't really like it as much. That's why I don't really mind it, because it's not actually the Time Lord. He's just, the Doctor's put his Time Lord consciousness inside the Fob Watch in Human Nature and Family of Blood. So then he goes, the human version of him goes and falls in love with a human named Joan in 1913. It's just like, there's no different connection between the Doctor and John Smith, really. That's the only thing about it I can say. I don't really think there's a little bit of a connection to separate the two of them. But when you get to series 4, it moves on to a different pattern. There's no snoggy relationship stuff about it, which is an absolutely great season. That's why I like it, especially with Donna as well, because you have the chemistry between Ten and Donna is the way it should have been between, like, with Ten and Rose and Ten and Martha. No relationship stuff going on. That's the thing about it. That's the only thing about Tennant's main stuff about it. I don't really like the relationship stuff. So that's why series 4 is my favourite series, because you just see him travelling around in the TARDIS having a laugh, like it should have been, like John Pertwee did with Joe Grant, or Tom Baker with Sarah Jane and Harry Sullivan, or with Leela, K9, Romana 1 and Romana 2, and definitely with Adric, Nyssa and Tegan. Even with the first Doctor, it was just like his granddaughter Susan, which he loved. You can tell the chemistry between the grandfather and the Doctor and his granddaughter. That's the only thing about it. It's just like, well, I mean, Tennant just is a great actor. It's nothing to do with Tennant. It's just I don't like the way he was actually written. He was written as a whiny, romantic Doctor, and it's like, that ain't the Doctor at all. Not for me, personally. It's not, that is the Doctor. As again, I do think he's very, very whiny. You see some stuff that you see him do, and it's very, very whiny. Like in The End of Time, he goes, I don't want to go. And he's just there moping about having to regenerate. He's been told the prophecy, and he's just sitting there in the cafe talking to Donna's granddad like, I'm going to die. Me too one day. He goes, don't do that. All right, I'm going to try not to. Bernard Cribbins plays Donna's granddad really, really well in that scene. And the way you just see him talking about even everything I am dies, it's just like, I really don't care at this point. I just want you gone. That's the thing. Watching that, I did used to like go, oh, but 10 years later, 11 years later, it's like, I'm not really interested in Tennant anymore. It's boring. Apart from series 4, series 4 is amazing. Series 2 is like, the relationship stuff between him and Rose, oh, this is getting boring. If you watch Rose's like character development with the 9th Doctor, there's nothing really there to state a relationship between the two of them. And as soon as you watch the Christmas Invasion, she's there like crying over him, he's regenerated into this new guy. And then you just see them like hinting at a relationship from New Earth straight up to Doomsday. It's like, What have we missed? Oh my god, what have I done? That's the only thing about Series 2 I don't like. Series 2 is the weakest David Tennant series by far, but it's still got some good episodes in there, like Rise of Summit, Age of Steel. It's just the relationship between Tennant and Rose. It's like, ugh. Especially with the school reunion with Sarah Jane's return, and Rose is all jealous over the Doctor because she's with the Doctor. Sarah Jane was with the Doctor, so she goes all jealousy type. It's like, this is just really boring to me now. Again, one of the whiny stuff as well. There's some stuff like I say, like when he's like crying in the TARDIS over Rose. It's like, yeah, you've just moved down to my least favorite Doctor at that point, especially in End of Time and a little bit of Series 3. It's like in Shakespeare Code, that one does my head in as well. I really don't like Shakespeare Code. You've got Martha like trying to flirt with him, and he just goes. Which is one thing I like about that scene, because he's like, they're not paying attention to Martha, which is the way the Doctor should be. But then he mentions Rose. It's like, for fuck's sake. He does exactly the same thing about Series 4 as well with Rose. He mentions her quite a few times, and then when you see him go face to face in the store on Earth, he gets shot by a Dalek, and I'm like, yes! And then he literally puts his generation to the hand. I'm like, no. I don't say anything about it. I don't really like Tennant. Tennant is a great actor, as I do say. It's just, it's not him playing the Doctor. It's the way I think they writ his Doctor. They writ his Doctor to be this kind of whiny, sort of romantic type. And it doesn't really work. Not now. Not decades later. Not after a decade or so later. It's like, Tennant really should not have... They really should not have done that. They really should not have made the Doctor a romantic type. That's the only thing about Tennant I don't really like. I mean, I do like some of his episodes. He's got some great stuff in his 3 series run. He has got some great episodes in there, like Rise of Siren, Age of Steel, Army, Ghost, and Doomsday, with The Impossible Planet and Satan's Pit. For Series 2, for Series 3, I absolutely love Smith and Jones. That is a great episode. Gridlock, I absolutely do like that because it's Return of the Macra. Human Nature and Family of Blood, again, that is amazing because that is just the Doctor not being the Doctor. He's literally put himself in a human, in it, like, take the time or consciousness out, but he still fall in love with a human. It's like, that's the only thing about it I don't like. Especially with the Master Trilogy with Utopian Sounds of Drums and Last of Time Lords, that's just like, oh, that's really, really good. Even Blink. And then when you get to Series 4, it's like, this is amazing. I absolutely love Series 4. And then I'll just go to the End of Time, I'm like, fuck, what have they done to him? They gave him such... That's the thing about Series 4. I really think they give the 10th Doctor a lot of good character development until you get to the end, to the End of Time, and that's where I think it drops the character development. I really would love to see more of the Time Lord Victorious Doctor that Tennant brought in the End of Waters of Mars. That would have been a great way to come back for the End of Time. I wouldn't have no problem with the End of Time if you just have the Doctor suffering, like, going... I'm the Time Lord Victorious, bitch. That's the only thing about it. I really don't like the End of Time about it, because after that such dark and powerful moment, they literally make him like this whole comedy sort of... What the hell were they thinking? They had such a great cliffhanger in Waters of Mars, and then when you get to the End of Time, it's like... What? That's the only thing about it. I don't really like the End of Time. So... This is the reason. This is why I don't like the David Tennant's 10th Doctor. It's not to do with David Tennant. He's a great actor. It's just I think the way they're written for Series 2 is not as great. When you get to Series 4, he has such great character development until the End of Time. So anyway, let me know in the comments what you think of David Tennant as the 10th Doctor. Do you like the 10th Doctor's run? Is it one of your favourites? Is it your least favourite like mine? Let me know in the comments. Please do like, subscribe and share, and have a great day. And join me tomorrow for another Doctor Who content video.